It's filming me.
The following movie contains material that may not be suitable for all viewers. Your discretion is advised.
Well, I have a dog. I do see dogs often.
Good evening and welcome to Shock Killer. I'm going to allow man devoted his life to the clean astronaut. Until he's out
I know, I just
standing
just
in the
know when I'll be
grocery
good.
store. It's a column.
Tonight, frightening movie is about a scientist who tries to raise the dead without getting a hernia. So, get back, turn out the light, and enjoy Reanimator. Wednesday night at 8, we've got a surefire cure for those people who bite their fingernails and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I was just giving my mustache.
Hey, is this one of those vibrating beds? I wonder how long it takes them to peel a potato. Don't miss a Nightmare on Elm Street Wednesday night at 8 as Shocktober continues, sponsored by TV50 and FM 104 WOMC. Thursday night at 8, discover the fun you can have with binoculars at night in the very frightening Fright Night.
That was auxiliary.
That thing housebroken, or should I get my hat? Boy, that guy really knows how to neck. Fright Night, Thursday night at 8, as Shocktober continues, sponsored by TV50 and FM 104 WOMC. Hey, if that stuff was really Gatorade, how come it glows? Now, Freddy's back with his slice and dice kitchen fingers in A Nightmare on Elm Street as Shocktober continues, sponsored by TV50 and FM 104 WOMC.
That's the first time I saw horror. I'm guessing that's like the place is there. His name's Chip. That's so cool. These things. Oh, I remember. I mean, I watched it. I saw it. Oh, yeah. Are you done? But no, I remember this. I was a kid sitting up late at night watching this channel. I was one of 7. I'm proud of it.
Oh, hi, this is the Creeper, and welcome to Moraine Playhouse Theater, show number 8 in our continuing series of fine amateur motion pictures and often not really crummy motion pictures. Today is no exception, other than the fact that today we have a different theme on the show. Yes, we have comedy today. Unlike any of our previous shows, today's shows are intended to be fun. And we have many Moraine residents, both adults, teenagers, and senior citizens, who have produced, acted in, and edited their own television shows for your viewing. Today's first comedy skit is entitled Junior, the Mean Little Boy. And let's laugh with Junior right now.
Good evening and welcome to Fright and Rat. Tonight is a very special night because tonight we're going to be showing the original 1931 horror classic Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi. Tell them about the movie, Frank.
Oh, okay. No, but I'm going to do this.
Oh, man. Timely.
The king of the vampires is my friend Drac, and it's subject to blood if you give him any snack. If he doesn't get blood, he goes a little batty. His eyes swirl around and his breath gets ready. He's a wolf, he's a bat, he's a walking dead. He's a real bad lover, Drac, sucks you in bed.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Drac is Mikhail Baryshnikov as Lance.
And Frank is Rudolph Nuriev as Clark in Dancer. Sherry, the little Italian daughter with light, grace his big toe.
I don't care what the doctors say. I will be one again. I will. I'd like to borrow your white kites for that production of Smart Lights. No! I want those white kites. No! Give me those white kites. No! Well, why not? I get nothing else to wear!
Even though this hand used to belong to an artist, don't forget that this one used to belong to a surgeon. So now, if you're ready, Frank, fix Poppy.
Oh my goodness! Oh, Frank, what did you do?
Oh, I sure fixed him.
You fixed him when your big dog didn't fix the little belly. You killed him.
Boy, he sure ain't doing pain anymore, is he?
Oh, I guess not. Oh, Vinny, I'm so sorry you had to see this, Vinny. I'm really sorry.
Hey, it tastes pretty good, too. Hey, can I fix something else?
Oh, yeah, Frank, sure. Fix my ass.
Well, good.
Oh, boy, I have to just think about this whole thing, you know. I really...
I love it. Monster Madhouse. Monster Madhouse, yes. We, of course, we completely steal all your old ideas.
It's Monster Madhouse.
What is Monster Madhouse?
We show old-fashioned monster movies for the kids.
Ask me something important.
Whoa, what happened to our...
Not you! Not you! Listen, since she's got the
That's what happens. It's a shocking end. If you have children, please take them out of the room.
Whoa, this is pretty cool. Tokyo! Oh, I know chicks.
Which is
Sounds like your life at hand.
That's obscene. Stop it.
Warlock comes in for the fight. Frankenstein.
More hosts in the hallway, more hosts, all more hosts in the hallway.
Thank you for another wonderful year of watching our show and just being amazing. You guys are all wonderful, and gals. Say guys, I just kind of generally mean everyone who watches our show. Everybody is amazing. You guys are all great. Yeah, we'll see you back here next time on Midnight Mausoleum.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. I'm your host, Nigel Honeybone. Tonight's entertainment once again comes from my old friend and darling of the public domain, Roger Corman. Directed by Roger and filmed in a mere 5 days, The Lost Woman stars the lovely Susan Cabot as proto-yuppie Janice Starling, CEO and public face of a large cosmetics company she herself has built up from nothing. The Lost Woman is seen by some as Roger Corman's heartfelt protest at how society undervalues women over the age of 40, as true today as ever. Others argue that The Lost Woman is evidence of Roger Corman's sincere belief that a shameless rip-off of The Fly, a big money earner for 20th Century Fox the previous year, would earn similar profits for him. Either or both are possible. Roger was known to have a social conscience, and although he didn't work for major Hollywood studios, he was known to fully endorse their core motto: if it sells, copy it. The most spectacular and puzzling thing about The Wasp Woman is probably the poster art it inspired. A man in the clutches of a gigantic wasp. Yet there's no such moment in the film. How to explain it? A publicist with no respect for the truth? Well, I never. Despite the brevity of the shooting schedule, The Lost Woman demonstrates Corman was not a completely talentless director. His obscure but extraordinary masterpiece, The Intruder in 1962, a film many mainstream directors would be proud to have in their resumes, was limited only by a small budget, as was to a lesser degree The Mask of the Red Death in 1964. I hope George Lucas is paying attention. I think you'll enjoy The Wasp Woman, and anyway, it was either this or I show you slides from my last holiday in Europe. I have graciously allowed the producers to dissuade me from that plan, even though I remain unconvinced by the arguments they advance.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Take your seats. The show is about to begin. Now, here he is, the Midnight Master of Horror, Professor Anton Griffin.
Thank you, Usher, and welcome one and all back to the Midnight Shadow Show. You have purchased your tickets and entered the curtain, so you must be very brave indeed. Tonight, night creatures, we are presenting a very special Halloween show. We receive trailers constantly from my boss, Professor Bruno Lampini, and tonight we are going to show you those trailers. Horrors and terrors, coming attractions perhaps that you will see right here on the Midnight Shadow Show. All to get you into the Halloween spirit, so to speak. So prepare yourselves. We are going to see a cavalcade of horror, an avalanche of grisly terror, right here tonight. Dim the lights, light that jack-o'-lantern, and let's begin our Trailerama.
George Romero's shocking classic Night of the Living Dead was inspired by a novel by Richard Matheson entitled I Am Legend. The book depicted the end of the world caused by a strange virus that mutates survivors into vicious blood drinkers. Other films inspired by the same book include the Vincent Price film Last Man on Earth.
And don't forget the Chuck Heston film The Omega Man.
That's right. These films were taken from the same source, but both were more direct adaptations of Matheson's novel. Romero changed the blood-drinking vampire creatures in the novel to flesh-hungry ghouls, and the rest is cinema history.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
The leaders of today building the leaders of tomorrow. Relentless in their war against the forces of oppression and tyranny. Dedicated defenders of truth, justice, and the freedom-loving peoples of the world.
And with me is my good friend, Reverend Zone, the chick magnet.
A young man reveling in the full powers of his manhood.
I bet you that you would have been a magnet for Veronica Lake. She always exuded sexuality.
I would like to fantasize so, but I think it wouldn't work.
And you actually found these in an archive someplace, and I'm really glad you did, because she plays a doctor in this one, making strange experiments. But she uses something that I don't particularly like, and we really won't go into.
No, impossible. I'm fully booked for the next. Impossible. I'm fully booked for the next 2 centuries.
This is one of the later motion pictures when I was way towards
It takes place in a Miami Beach mansion in the basement, where she has a laboratory, and her name is Dr. Frederick.
Yes.
Have Friends of Hollywood, I'm wondering, she doing some cosmetic surgery in the basement or what? In a way, yeah, definitely.
Yes, she's, working on trying to help people.
From one doctor to another, I'd really like to play doctor.
I'm sure you I really would be impressed with this idea.
And the name of the motion picture
is Flesh Feast.
Say Flesh Feast. I find it.
Yes, directed by Miami, Florida auteur Brad Grinter.
I think he worked with my own.
Hello, my dear everyone. Look who I found. Rebecca Piper, director of Shilling Shoppers. This is a bit of a behind-the-screens interview. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello. I feel like I'm on the wrong side of the camera.
All the episodes you've watched of Shilling Shoppers, except for like 2 of them, were edited by Rebecca Piper, who did all the lighting for the show, all the editing, and she's the director of the show. Of course, she's written some of the episodes too, like Dr. Caligari episode.
Yes, Sleepwalking.
The Sleepwalking.
Season 7, episode 5.
Yes, so Rebecca, she does not receive enough accolades, so we're going to interview her here so you can find out a little bit about what she does. So Rebecca, what do you do on Shilling Shoppers besides what I just said? How long does it take you to edit an episode?
Depending on the episode, if it's a very simple shoot where it's just you and I, a penny solo episode, so to speak, editing goes much faster. But when we do the episodes that have a lot of cast extras, or where there's a lot of location shooting, or if it's a special effects heavy episode, our 5 scenes might take me as long as 2 weeks to edit, and we're working on it every day.
And when you come set up the lights in the Attic of Terror, because although the lighting in the Attic of Terror is often naturally spooky, Rebecca enhances that spookiness. Talk about that. What's your setup?
Well, I have to enhance the spookiness because if I did not, it would be too dark to see anything. The lighting is spooky in the sense of slats of light without studio lights.
Indeed. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I have been very influenced by the look of the great Mario Bava's film when it comes to lighting design.
Excellent. I approve of that.
I don't think that fans of Shilling Shoppers know that when they buy DVDs from us, every single DVD is hand-assembled by me, specifically. I print all the labels, I cut them all by hand, I burn the discs and label them personally, and every single DVD is hand-lovingly assembled by me, often while I'm binge-watching Supernatural on Netflix.
Would you like You know, just then you reminded me of this woman I know, Zerlia Lanchester. She eats just...
We are related.
Oh, you are related?
We are.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about Luna, but Zerlia and I are related.
That explains it.
It's all good, don't worry about it.
No, impossible. I'm fully booked for the next 2 centuries.
Scary monsters, super freaks, keep me running, running scared.
Where are you going? Not actively. He's retired. Did you just leave that?
I feel like I know you all so much better.
Missed it.
Welcome. Wow, this mic is hot. Holy cow. I'm Jason Hignight, and on behalf of Horror Hound and Horror Hound Weekend, we want to welcome you to the 2019 Horror Host Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And to assist me in opening the ceremony, we kind of brought in a legend a little bit. Only the alter ego of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Cassandra Peterson, is here to join me. Cassandra was inducted in the second induction class, and wanted to have her with us today to induct the hosts in the 2019 class. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
It's hot.
So I just want to say,
Yeah, there you go.
On behalf of me, Cassandra Peterson, and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, I just want to congratulate all the Horror Hall of Fame people for the class of 2019, okay?
All right. And we're going to kick this off real quick with something that might interest you. Our first Behind the Screams induction is Scary Monsters Magazine. And check out what they had to store. You're in some good company up there. Yeah, absolutely. So, the first induction officially of 2019, Behind the Screams, Scary Monsters Magazine. They have done a lot for horror hosts over the years, and we're very proud to induct them into the Horror Host Hall of Fame. And now, to introduce your host for the ceremony, a ghoul who needs no introduction.
Well, then why do it?
All right. Cassandra Peterson, Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Cassandra, very much. Good evening, or good morning. I am Dr. Mortos, for those of you who aren't my minions yet. Welcome to the 2019 Horror Host Hall of Fame inductions! Excellent. Victor Von Scary, where are you hiding? Come up here. Vic! Big round of applause.
It's hot.
Hot?
Hot.
There you go.
Hotter than hot.
Hello, I'm Victor Von Scary, and I'm here to induct my personal favorite horror host, Count Scary from Lower Michigan. And when I let the Count know he was going to be inducted, he wrote me, Victor Scary, a personal letter, and I'd like to read that to you now. Dear Jack, what an honor it is, right up there with the Academy Awards, the Golden Globes, and the Publishers Clearinghouse Suite, which I have never won, by the way. I'm sorry that I can't attend the ceremony, as I am currently touring the Amazon. Well, not actually the Amazon. I'm on a tour of the Amazon warehouse somewhere in Texas. Did you know you can get a great deal on a hairdryer if you order by the end of the month? And I think he's got an Amazon account or something. I'm honored to be mentioned with some of the other great scary personalities from Detroit, Morgus, Sir Ghastly Graves, The Ghoul, and Kwame Kilpatrick. Good. Former mayor, now serving a very long prison sentence. If I was there, I'd like to thank my parents, Mom Paul Scary, my sister Khloe Kardashian Scary, and my agent, who was also serving a very long prison sentence. By the way, do I get anything like a car or a Rolex or a gift card to Ohama Steaks? And he says to all of you, thank you and be scared.
Yes.
How scary? Or a horse. I don't know, I gotta do it.
Unless you have something else you like. If you make any mistakes. Well, 76 will clean up after you. If you need it. All right. Excellent. Baron Von Porkchop, where are you hiding? There you are, sir. Come up here.
Hello, everyone. Oh, here I am again. Horror Host Hall of Fame. Oh, so this next host had many different looks and styles throughout his career. That started in 1989, such as big glasses, big bulgy eyes, and crazy hair with a bright red nose. And even once, he donned an infamous hockey mask. But I believe he is best known and recognized for his more ghoulish appearance. A balding old ghoul with white hair and nasty sharp teeth. That's right, biggies. I am inducting into the 2019 Horror Host Hall of Fame none other than The Creeper, a.k.a. Dave Miller. While his appearance may have changed a lot throughout his show, his love for cheesy shot-on-video fan films never did. At the Moraine Playhouse Theater, The Creeper hosted a slew of off-the-wall movies shot in the Dayton area, such as The Trial of the UFO, Jason Still Lives, Jason Still Lives 2, and Return of Jason. As for Dave Miller, he has won many awards, including an Arnie, and he is highly respected in the city of Moraine, which is a suburb of Dayton, if you didn't know. Used The Creeper in the Moraine Playhouse Theater as an outlet for his and his friends' creative projects, and even had a show called the Moraine Teen Theater, where he featured local teens in their movies. The Creeper has been a creative inspiration to a lot of Dayton locals, but probably none so much as my very own producer, Matt Brassfield. The Creeper, along with Dr. Creep and A. Ghastly Ghoul, has inspired many projects of Mac, including my show, The Terrifying Tales of Macabre. So on behalf of Matt and myself, I would like to thank The Creeper, aka Mr. Miller, for bringing creative inspiration and awesome, locally shot, cheesy movies to the Dayton area. And none other than The Creeper himself is here today to accept the award. If you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Baron and Matt. Thank you so much. Honored to have this award. Two quick stories. Going back to the 1960s and 70s, growing up as a young kid, Dr. Creep was the horror host in Dayton. And that's back in the day when we had 4 TV channels. So playing with the antenna and the rabbit's ears on the TV, if it was a nice day out and it wasn't storming, we could pick up Sammy Terry over at Indianapolis and pull gold down in Cincinnati. So needless to say, those were growing up, they're just wonderful memories and nostalgia from watching all those shows. So fast forward to 1978, working for the city of Moraine. This is my 42nd year working for the city. Back in 78, something new came to Dayton. It was called cable TV. Time Warner, and we went from 4 channels to 26. And I remember thinking at that time, wow, what technology. It's not going to grow beyond 26. This is incredible. But one of the channels was a municipal access channel. And growing up with a Super 8 camera making movies, I jumped on that right away. And I've probably put on 500 or 600 City of Moraine shows. But my favorite show was Moraine Playhouse Theater, where we ended up getting teens and adults just interested in movie making. And we'd write scripts, make movies, and then we decided to make 1-hour movies and put them on the cable access channel. And I thought, hey, we need a horror host. And so, bidding adieu to Dr. Creep and some of my favorites as a kid, we created The Creeper, And the rest is history. We had fun doing it. Couldn't believe all the people that enjoyed the shows, and it was a riot. So, in closing, congratulations to all the other members of the class of 2019 inducted today, and I'm very honored to have this award. Thank you.
Excellent. Grim and Janet DeKay, where are you hiding? Are you here? There they are.
Hello there, horror hounds. I'm Janet Decay the Mummy.
And I'm Grigory the Monkey.
And together we host
The Mummy and the Monkey's Hairy Scary Hangout.
Friday nights on Facebook Live.
That's right, and we're here to induct Drac from the Franken Drac Show. Ha 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 ha.
Congratulations, Drac. He was a late night legend on WOIO Channel 19 in Cleveland, Ohio in the late 80s.
That's right, and we are so happy for you, man. You know what? And it sucks that we can't be there, yeah.
Yeah, really bites.
Yeah, you know what? We would like to raise a toast to you with a couple of glasses of wine, but we both here know that you don't drink wine. Congratulations, buddy. Yeah, woohoo.
Congratulations. And
Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much. Before we get started, I'd like to clear the air. I have a statement to make. It wasn't me. I never touched her. It was Harvey Weinstein. I am Count Dracula, Prince of Darkness, King of the Vampires. Of course, the King of the Vampires thing, you know, that's kind of like an honorary title. What that means is every year I'm responsible for organizing the vampire bake sales, flea markets, all that kind of stuff. So don't think I'm being delusional here. It's an honor to be inducted along with the rest of the class of 2019. And I'd like to thank my friends, the Mummy and the Monkey. Aren't they wonderful? You follow them online? I love them. They're great. I'd also like to thank a big shout out to Halloween Jack, who's not here.
Yeah.
And to thank everybody on the committee who put Frank and Drac on the ballot this year. Let's hear it for them. Since you'll be watching this later at home, I'd like to thank my parents, Bob and Mary and Dracul, who have put up with all my nonsense for centuries. And I'd like to thank, of course, the Countess Stephanie, who made sure I was ready to roll today. She pulled up the video that you watched earlier. She made sure that my shirt was snow white. She's very good with bloodstains. She's also put up with, in just the last few days, an official Frank and Drac fan page. We have about 11 members so far. I'd like you to tell all your friends, just let them know we'll let anybody into the dump, even you. Yeah, we let you in. So please join the page. And I'd like to thank all of the fans who voted for Frank and Drac. It was very gratifying. And for those of you who didn't vote for Frank and Drac and say, what are they putting those goofballs on the ballot for? Hey, you know what? Thank you. I'm glad you appreciated that, because you know what we say in Transylvania. Thank them if they can't think a joke. And I would be remiss without thanking the iconic Bela Lugosi. Which is something Martin Landau didn't get to do. He won an Oscar playing it. This has been a great year for this old vampire media persona, because in addition to being inducted into the Hall of Fame later this year, I'm going to be published. I have a short story that's going to be in a book. Let me make sure I get the title right. You have to excuse me, but during the day I'm like that. It's called Chillers, Tales Inspired by Classic Horror Films. It's been compiled by Brad Braddock. It's going to be published by Midnight Marquee. Speaking of scary monsters, their cover artist Scott Jackson has done a wonderful cover. I have a story in it called Cryptic. Countess Stephanie has one called The Open Window. By the way, did I mention Countess Stephanie is my personal handler?
We also have stories from other fan favorites like Christopher Gauthier, 2019 Rondo Award nominee Kurt McCoy, Frank Delastrido, Greg Mank, and many others. So, in closing, I'd like to say, in the beginning, Marconi created a radio. And to it they added the cathode ray tube, which gave us light and television, and it was good. And from the light sprang Vampira, who begat Zachary, who begat Goulardi. Do I hear an amen? Amen. Who begat Houlihan and Big Chuck and Little John. Who begat the Ghoul. Who begat Elvira. Who begat the son of Ghoul. I bet those were some labor pains. And I want to say what an honor it is to be inducted along all those other names that I've just mentioned. People that I know, some of them personally, and this touches this old vampire's heart, and not with the stake. And I think, in closing, I speak for all of the horror hosts from the 1960s, 70s, 80s, when I say, we all looked a hell of a lot better when we had all our hair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nobody's getting this, we'll end up on eBay.
Excellent. All right. Well then, Woody, where are you?
I'm here.
Oh, God. Where's Freak Show?
Freak Show's not here.
Freak Show's not here. How dare
Bring
you
your
not
buddies
be here?
up. Come on, Snugglepuss.
All right. His minions are here. Come on, minions. Come on, Freak Show minions. Come on.
Yeah, it's just me.
All right, good.
I'm pulling
Grab a
solo.
microphone, Woody.
Yeah, it is.
Like you've never seen a microphone before.
Oh, I know, right? I've never used one either.
It's just getting uglier. Go ahead. 676 is being useful.
There you go. Snugglepuss, come on.
You don't have too many clothes, ladies and gentlemen.
You do the worst striptease I've ever
Oh, I know.
It's like watching a tree. I'm so sorry for the people watching this at home. You are live, you know that.
Hi, guys. Is it mine? Okay. Yes, hi. So when I was asked to induct this next inductee, I thought, man, they really hate this guy. Here we go. Back here in the late 80s, Randy the Macho Man Savage were at a bar, and they asked each other, is it gay if no one's watching? And as a result, we have our 2019 inductee, Carlos Borla, host of the Monster Madhouse. Monster Madhouse is one part... I meant to do that. Monster Madhouse was one part daycare center, one part AA meeting, one part drug rehab. Rehab? I'm still in hab. And he's been running around since 2006. He's had a plethora of sidekicks and wahoos and yahoos. Oh, he had the script for me. But if I were to learn anything from this guy's show, it's two things. One, never ever take yourself seriously. Right. And number two, never fool around with your co-host. Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Borla!
Hey, come here, Woody.
I think I got a bigger lighter. There he goes. Yeah, smoke a little bit.
All right, yeah, keep that light. Anyway, wow. The class of 2019, this is pretty cool. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I want to thank everybody because, of course, the Horror Host Underground, when I started doing this, about 2005. I mean, actually, I did it back in the 70s in my garage with the movie projector with my friends, but, you know, when I met guys like cool, Count Gordyval, and I'm like, well, I should go up in front of the TV set, and it's the most important, probably the greatest invention ever, next to the automobile or the cigarette lighter. But, you know, the cell phones are great, and the internet's cool, but back in the day, you had to wait around and you looked at the TV guide when they came out every week, and you planned your next week of your life. This is on the blog, the person's Godzilla, and the thing. You know, so you had to wait for things, and you didn't get to see it again, so you had to be there to watch it. It wasn't going to repeat 20 times. You couldn't rewind it. There weren't even VCRs back when we grew up. You know, aged, Gee's alarm. But anyway, how old are you? Still, I don't even know. I don't even know. But still, it seems TV seems to be going back around. Just like with movies. You buy the ticket, you go see the movie. But the experience of it all is just so great. And the horror hosts we all grew up with, as well as the afternoon shock jocks and the morning zoos, the comedy, the radio. We need horror hosts now more than ever. Just like we need to bring back the afternoon shock jocks and the morning zoos. Turn the news off. It's not even news. It was a better world when everybody was laughing constantly at everything, you know. And I think they need to bring that back. Shame on the news. Shame on the news. You know, the best news is like you get it in a newspaper, you know. But, you know, you can't take the internet, you can't roll the internet up and swat a fly with it. You can't line a bird cage with the internet. But you can with a newspaper, you know. So we need is do we have any newspaper horror hosts now? But anyway, thank you all for the abduction into the Horror Host Hall of Shame. I feel very proud to do this because we've been on TV in Washington, D.C. every day. Literally multiple times a day since 2006, and every time I start thinking like, God, I gotta stop, what am I doing? You run into people at the gas station or at the store or whatever, and they just tell you how much they love it, or you get a 15-year-old kid that comes up to you and says they've been watching your show since they were 5, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go. But anyway, it's important stuff, and it seems to be still carrying on. When we see kids show up at events dressed up as characters they made up with a cardboard robot suit on or whatever, they get it. And they're walking around with their thing, you know, going like this. You know, we had to take ours to Photomat back in the day. But congratulations to everybody in the Horror Host Hall of Fame. And I look forward to seeing this as an actual place where people can go and buy like vape liquids and probably gas and chicken, you know. Thank you, and Godzilla bless you all. Thank you. Excellent. Can I keep this? It's yours forever. Mount it in the wall in your kitchen. All right, I think everybody should stand up and just throw themselves into it now. That's kind of what happens in this room. Captain Crypt. Oh, there it is. Right over there. You blend in, sir.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm the new guy. The Horror Dungeon boys are back. Yeah. Are you guys excited for Whorehound Weekend or what? Yeah. They can do better than that. Are you guys excited or what? Yeah. That's what I thought. All right, just like Mr. Carlos was saying, we got people out here that are inspired. I'm one of them. You all mean a lot to me. Some people walk around and pick their legends, they pick their heroes, and then they always let them down. You guys never do. You guys are great. And I'll tell you what, me and Captain Crypt here are here for a good reason.
Yes, tonight, like everybody that spoke, horror hosting has brought the worlds of people together. And we got to meet a group of people, it started 10 years ago. And some of the nicest people I remember at the Crump Theater in Columbus, Indiana, walking up and meeting Blake and Marlena and Robin and everybody from the Midnight Mausoleum. Some of the finest folks you'll ever meet. Now, if you get on Blake's bad side, that could be a different story. But if you're on your good side, they're like family. They have been on the air for 10 years now. They're actually on broadcast TV, which a lot of us strive for. We're still doing the internet stuff, but we congratulate them. We've shared many different adventures together. One reminds me of where we all went down to Tennessee, and we get down there and we look around, and it's me, Marlena, Thomas Berdinsky, and the old guy from Ernest is it. There's no crowd, there's no audience, so that was the best day that we got to play hacky sack and get to really know each other. But without further ado, I'm going to give somebody that really deserves it this year, from Midnight Mausoleum, Marlena Midnight.
Thanks everybody. This is a really cool little frame and board. I brought notes because I'm never going to remember any of this. So the first thing I thought when I heard, oh, Marlena, you're being inducted into the Horror Host Hall of Fame was, no, that isn't right. And then it was, and I was like, oh. And then I was like, they ran out of real horror hosts. But all joking aside, I'm incredibly honored and humbled to be standing up here today, being inducted into the Hall of Fame that holds so many legends, both past and present. It's just an amazing group of people. And I mean, it's fantastic. I'm not a public speaker. I'm not that kind of horror host. I'm very sorry. So
great.
anyway, I'm just gonna thank like this entire list of people as long as my arm. So Blake, who is standing over there, literally does everything on the show except for wear the dress. So he deserves all the thanks. I'm sorry you guys didn't see him in a dress. You'll have to sell it for me. Tack Fu and Chris DeLuca, because they helped us out when we were just little tiny baby guys, and they really helped us get up and going in the beginning. Jason Hignite, Halloween Jack, everybody who worked so incredibly diligently to put together this event and the Horror Host Hall of Fame. Tom Berdinsky, because he always supports us and our movies. Dick Dizell, Larry Underwood for all their insights and guidance. Everyone who's helped on the show, past and present, y'all know who you are. The thank you cards are in the mail, I swear. That might be a lie. So everyone at WQAD News 8, MyTV 8-3, and Tribune Broadcasting, which are our home stations. The 63 public access channels that used to run the original version of the show. All the indie horror creators out there, and of course the horror hosts and hostesses who paved the way for me to be standing here today, including Vampire Zachary, Cremation Warden, Tarantula Ghoul, Chuck Akery, which is my home host, Scartisha, Goulardi, Elvira, Commander USA, who is my all-time favorite host, Veronica, Dabber Count, Gordeval, Stilla. Okay, that's plenty of that. So anyway, I could literally go on, and you guys would be real bored. So I'm just going to say that more than anybody on this list, my biggest, most heartfelt thank you goes out to my fan family and the Boneyard Brigade and all the loyal fans of this incredible genre, because without you guys, we wouldn't exist. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Slash. Everybody applaud for Slash.
Hey, Goldsters. All right. The inductee that I'm about to induct made his stage debut as Hamlet's dead father, portraying him as a tall, posh skeleton. This was followed in Richard III, Macbeth, Shylock, and Othello, all played as a tall, posh skeleton, respectively. Considering his reputation for playing a tall English skeleton, many believe that the real Honeybone inside yearned to be something very different, like a squat hunchback, perhaps. Yeah. Oddly enough, he did once play a squat hunchback, but it was a tall, posh skeleton hunchback in 1960. He also, in Psycho in 1960, he also wore women's clothing for the first time. He went on to wear women's clothing in 13 major motion pictures. When CGI took over, the only possible step forward for a tall, posh skeleton was in the television industry to become a horror host and host the finest examples of B-grade horror movies such as you've seen on the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. It's my pleasure to induct into the 2019 Horror Host Hall of Fame, Nigel Honeybone. Nigel sent me a speech to read on his behalf. Hello, good evening, and welcome, respected committee members of the Horror Host Hall of Fame, my honorable fellow inductees, and you people here. If someone else is reading this, it means I am unable to attend this year's Horror Hound Convention. I can think of no better way to spend my weekends to be here with you all, but sadly, since there's no money to be made in Australian community television, my budget does not allow this. Mine barely did. To my faithful fans who nominated for my induction into the Horror Host Hall of Fame and sent their congratulations, I accept it in all the spirit that it has been offered. Over the last dozen years, you have proven to be a great bunch of weirdos. But you are my kind of weirdos, and I've grown terribly fond of you all. If this honor makes you happy, go right ahead and enjoy it. I'm not exactly sure what this honor really means, but I know there's no cash prize. That was my first question. If there is any value attached to this honor, then it belongs to my show's producers, their families, and friends who have been able to tolerate it and endure the challenges involved in being the only television horror host in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
To the horror hosting fraternity in general, as you were, please carry on. I mean you no harm. I shall continue to present films that only we can all enjoy on one level or another, and produce new episodes as our time, money, and circumstances allow. Now it's time for me to ask you to please tune in next week, whether it be the Vortex, the Monster Channel, C31 in Melbourne, Adelaide 44, or WTV Perth, when I have the opportunity to expose my most tender body parts to another awkwardly probing journey through those damnable dells of Horrorwood land on the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. Congratulations, Nigel.
Isn't Nigel a handsome-looking fellow? I don't know why I would think that. All right. Hey, Ghastly Ghoul. Come on up here.
Hey guys, this has been a great ceremony, hasn't it? This is one of the best ever. Really enjoying it.
Don't cry.
I'll try not to. I'll try not to cry. It just makes me weepy. You know that. So Peter Griffin, you all know him from The Family Guy. The show got canceled. Merv Griffin? Maybe? Oh, nobody remembers Merv. No, I'm here to honor my dear friend, Professor Anton Griffin, of course, from the Midnight Shadow Show, Austin, Texas. Been a dear friend since, I think I opened all these the same way. We met on Count Gore's Horror Host list and became dear friends ever since. When his child was born, how many years ago?
17.
17 years ago, a bunch of the horror hosts, Madam Samantha, got a bunch of us together and we got a baby blanket, which I understand he still uses to this day. Proper upbringing. Thank you, Joseph. No, I'm really a man of few words. But fortunately, Joseph isn't. This man is amazing and a horror historian on top of being a fantastic comedian. He was, many people don't know, he was a member of the Second City improv troupe before he became a horror host. So along with his sidekicks, Dan Dan and Usher there, of course, Usher, woo! Yes. They hosted the Midnight Shadow Show from Austin. It's simply brilliant. I actually revisited some of these in the past week or so, and they made me cry, Joseph. They made me cry. Come up here, my brother. Anton Griffin, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome, brother. I love you.
I love you. I love you all. Thank you so very much. Wow, what an incredible honor. And that man there, I'm not kissing the podium, I'm putting that down. I might kiss the podium, it depends. Thank you so very much. It's such an honor to be part of this amazing group and this tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, we as shamanistic late-night storytellers, guides to the dark movies that we present and we show, and comedians and clowns and entertainers, this is valuable. People need this. And what we do, what all of us do,
is so terribly important. I do want to thank everyone involved in Professor Griffin's Midnight Shadow Show, my director-producer Shane Scott, Usher, and Dan, who unfortunately could not be here today. Dan because he's psychotic, and Usher because she just couldn't care. After Christopher Lee died, she was never the same. She was never the same after that. I want to thank my brother, Wolf Griffin, who couldn't be here because he's probably out fighting a mummy or something. The family and friends who all worked together to make this show for 6 years in Austin, Texas, and then, of course, on Fangoria TV for 4 years. It was a lot of fun. And that's what I keep telling people. It was fun, and we laughed, and we enjoyed what we did. And ultimately, we know people enjoyed it too, and that makes us very proud indeed. In closing, Night Creatures, I do want to bring up a horror host that we lost last year. Mike Accord from Florida, Lon Mad Night. One of my dear friends, I considered him a brother. He passed away last year, suddenly and unfairly, frankly. And I want to make sure that I say this, that I want this to be for him. He deserves this as well. He was one of the best. One of the best. So, for Lon Mad Night, thank you, sir, for what you do. And thank you all. And of course, rest in peace.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Excellent. Henrique? The boy.
Close enough, my man, close enough.
Thank you very much. My name is Henrik Kuto. I'm usually not nervous when I talk in front of people. Today, super nervous, and I'm here right now to confirm the deodorant stopped working like 25 minutes ago. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself first, but there's a reason, because I'm great. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Anybody from Dayton or around the Dayton areas or anything? Brave. But because I'm from Dayton, Dr. Creep. That was our guy. But you see, I was born in '86, so my mom was watching Dr. Creep. Except he ended up coming back in the late '90s, which is where I saw him. And the reason he came back in the late '90s, and the reason I got interested in horror movies and became a film director, is because I watched Shock Theater, and also Ghastly Ghoul, but I'll wait till he's dead to talk about him. It is with so much. I'm so glad, by the way, that Ghastly cried before I did. Thank you for that. But it is with so much honor that I get to induct Andrew Kopp into the Horror Host Hall of Fame for his contributions behind the screams on Shock Theater, the new Shock Theater with Dr. Creep. And the reason I'm getting so emotional, Andy is not with us anymore. He passed away about 6 years ago. But I did want to say something, which is simply that I've been loving horror hosts since I was a kid, with Dr. Creep being the first one. And you kind of, when you watch movies with horror hosts, you are watching movies with a friend. But I had the pleasure of being a 12-year-old kid, and they actually became my friends. And that's something I can't even begin to tell you how magical it is. There's a box in your living room. Become real people. Thank you. And I just, and so the reason I talked, thank you. The reason I talked about myself so much is if there was no Andy, there'd be no me. So thank you guys. He was an incredible guy. He loved this so much. I'm happy to know that people like Matt Brassfield are keeping the torch going. Yeah, just give him the loudest applause you can. Maybe we can wake him up, right? So thank you all so much, and thank you guys, everybody, for honoring him. It means the world to me as everyone that cared about him. So thank you all very much.
Excellent. And now, for our last induction, I'm going to have to cast a magic spell so that we can communicate through the miles and through the ether and through space with Penny Dreadful.
Wait a minute. Hold on. There we go.
Well,
my dreary one, 'tis I, Penny Dreadful. It has been some time, hasn't it? Yes, I've been out here in the forests of haunted New England gathering poison nettles for my spider stew. Wait a minute! Is that all my wonderful horror host friends? Oh, my badness, it has been so long. I see you're all the same zany, insane bunch I love so well. Ball off, for Pete's sake, put your pants back on. Make sure the boy doesn't drink any more yoo-hoo. He's all hopped up. Anyway, I was asked to send this video submission in to induct my dear friend Rebecca Piver into the Horror Host Hall of Fame. Rebecca truly deserves it, and it is my honor to induct her into the Hall of Fame. I'm so glad to see that Rebecca's work has been recognized. She's been working on our show, Shilling Shoppers, for many, many years, and put so much work into it, blood, sweat, and tears. Months and months spent editing episodes, directing episodes, setting up the lighting, and all the gel colors, and all of this marvelous work that she does. And truly, I wouldn't be here today talking to you if it weren't for Rebecca. That's right. And, when I told her that she was nominated for the Horror Host Hall of Fame, she actually thought I was the one who nominated her, and I had to let her know it's the folks that run the Horror Host Hall of Fame who nominated you, because they're recognizing you for all the hard work and talent. And for all of you horror hosts out here, I want you to always keep in mind that the people who work behind the scenes on your show are essential to the success of your show. They are an equal part of your show. So always make sure you recognize that, and I'm so glad that the Horror Host Hall of Fame is inducting Rebecca here, my sister from another mister, if you will. So Rebecca, you did an excellent job. I said it, excellent. Congratulations.
Oh! Get me in! Excellent. Let's have one more big round of applause for all our inductees for 2019. Excellent, thank you. You all deserve it. Thank every one of you for coming today and experiencing this. Next year will be amazing as well, so make sure you come back next year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all there is for the show.
You're not a real doctor.
Folks, thank you so much for being part of this and honoring a tradition that is truly American. There are a few things that we can lay claim to, but horror hosting is ours. It belongs to us. It's spread worldwide. And we want to thank you guys for coming and honoring the American tradition of horror hosting. Have a great time at Horror Hunt Weekend. God bless.
Oh, you want to use my camera?
Yeah. We pulled it off 2 times.
And then we'll do that.
Okay. One of these.
I did a really bad job.
You did a really bad job?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I dropped it. You didn't see me drop it.
I didn't see you drop it.
I filmed everything. Give me an address.